Anji Vaigji Ka Khalsa, Vaiguru Ji Ki Fateh. I'm very thankful to the organizing members and the scholars from Shri Guru Granth Sahib World University for holding this conference and also providing me this opportunity to present my research paper. The title for my research paper is Echoes of Guru's Quote, Rai Balwand and Bhai Satta in the Light of their Bani in Shri Guru Granth Sahib. I'll try to cover in next 10 to 15 minutes the introduction to the topic, the sources of the research, the early life and background of Rai Balwand and Bhai Satta, whose Gurbani is on Ang 966 in Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji with the title of Ram Kai Ki War Rai Balwand Ate Satta Doom Aki. I'll talk about what is covered in our historical resources, the Granths which are written, and try to sketch the timelines, the comprehensive timelines about them. The topic related explores the Gurmat Sangeet tradition in Sikhism. Under Guru Nanak's guidance, the Rababi Kirtan tradition began with Bhai Mardana. It was continued by Rai Balwand and Bhai Satta. Though mentioned in Sikh resources, in-depth research on this tradition remains limited, and there's a limited information also about Rai Balwand and Bhai Satta. It still remains unexplored. As devoted Sikhs and exceptional Kirtankars, their service from the first Guru Nanak to sixth Guru carries great historical significance in terms of the Gurmat Sangeet, in terms of the Guru's quotes, their tradition, and the divinity of Guru's quote. So the main objectives for this research is to be able to highlight the significant contributions from both of them through the authentic historical resources, analyze their life timelines resonating with the echoes of the Guru's era through the documented narratives, examine the significance of their Bani, which is Ram Kai Ki War on 966, emphasize the Rababi tradition they represented within the framework of the Gurmat Sangeet, showcase their multidimensional roles as Kirtankars, as poets, as devoted Sikhs who were so close to the Gurus and their families, highlight the progress of Gurmat Sangeet during their time from Guru Nanak to Guru Har Gobind, and recognize their unique legacy, the first known Guru contributors whose Bani was enshrined in Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So the main resources is one, Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, as their Bani is there. They have 8 pauris of Ram Kai Ki War in there. And then the resources close to the Guru's time, written the closest as our historical resources, Mahima Prakash, Guru Bilas Pasha Chaini, Shri Guru Pratap Suraj Granth, which had been analyzed in detail for wherever is the reference to any of the Kirtan, Rababi tradition, or the name Bhai Satta and Rai Balwand Ji. These works are more in the poetic narratives that illuminate their lives, devotion, the roles in Sikh tradition. The research traces their historical footprint chronologically. So I'll show the timeline when I get a chance of how it traverses through all of these writings. We'll start with the early life and background, as is mentioned in various resources here. The historical records of Rai Balwand and Bhai Satta are limited. Insights emerge from Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji mainly for us, and those traditional Sikh texts. They both belong to Mirasi Doom community, as we know from the title itself, Satta Doom Aki Rai Balwand, the title which was bestowed to them by Guru Arjan Dev Ji, through Bhai Balwand Ji, that was the title bestowed to him. The sources such as Mahima Prakash, Suraj Prakash, Guru Bilas, they note their prominence during the era of Guru Arjan Dev Ji with active service spanning from Guru Nanak Dev Ji to Guru Har Gobind Ji. They regularly performed Kirtan in Amritsar, flourishing center of Sikh spiritual and musical activity. They were known as Khaduri Rababis. They served in Khadur Sahib during Guru Angad Dev Ji's time with their Kirtan Chowki tradition that tells us more about the Gurmat Sangeet, how Kirtan was conducted in that time. Later, they got relocated to the Amritsar nearby Salor Toba, close to the Guru's court, continuing their service in Gurmat Sangeet. Their relationship is not very clear, as different historical sources written. They have different representations of that. After Bhai Mardana's passing, Mahima Prakash notes that Rai Balwant continued Kirtan in Guru Nanak's court at Sartarpur Sahib. It says, Balwant Bhajan Kare Prabh Pave, Kirtan Kar Perak Bithave. So it's clearly written, Guru Nanak's time, Bhai Balwantji was doing Kirtan at that time. Sources differ regarding the relation between Balwantji and Sattaji. Guru Prakash describes him as brother. Hatho doon Balwand Mahana, Satta iska Anuj Sujana. But then there is more analysis on why that term Anuj is used. Mahima Prakash identifies Satta as Balwant's son. Balwant Puttar Satta te aaye, An Hajur Rabab Bajai. Professor Sahib Singh Ji notes that they were not descendants of Bhai Mardana, as some of the um, uh, sources have written. Bhai Mardana was from Chokar caste, and Balwantji and Sattaji were from Morkar caste. Bhai Dich Singh Ji also records that by Guru Nanak's grace, Mardana's cousin, maternal cousins, Masere Bhai, came to serve with Guru Angad Dev Ji. And then if we just do some other relation, I don't want to go through all of this slide, between about the time period between Guru Angad Dev Ji and Guru Arjan Dev Ji, and when does Bhai Satta's name start to appear in this historical grunts, and how sometimes the reference in the Saki about the marriage related to the girl being a daughter or a sister, it's the analysis based on that kind of brings more of a consensus that they were father and son. There's the early mentions in Mahima Prakash. I don't want to go through all of it, but in all of these grants, I've just given an example in the slide set of how they were first introduced. The first mention in Mahima Prakash in the Saki Babaji Ka Nit Karam. There's a Saki. It describes Balwantji engaged in the Bhajan and Rabab accompaniment. Then in the daily routine related Saki in Mahima Prakash, there is a reference to it, that there was a Kirtan practice which was done in the evening and the nights. In Guru Nanak's final days, there's a reference there that Balwantji was specially summoned for devotional singing, showing his revered position in the early Sangat itself. It's also written, and we'll look at that verse there, Guru Nanak directs Balwantji to continue Kirtan service under the next Guru, comparing his care to protecting the tongue while brushing. So we'll look at that verse. So just to summarize on the entry, the introduction of Balwantji's presence in Guru Nanak Dev Ji time, this has more references on the Sakis where his name is there and what he used to do in his court. And then in the Saki Shri Guru Babi Ji Ka Jyoti Jyot Samauna in Mahima Prakash, it talks about पुन दयाल सब सखा बुलाए ए विद सब दौड़े आए बुढ़ा पकीरत और साधारण आए बलवंड भजन सुख कारण. So that just tells us right here in Guru Nanak Dev Ji's time, we had Rai Balwantji doing bhajan kirtan there. And then there's a verse 12, there's a mention that before departing from his body, Guru Nanak Dev Ji instructed to send Balwand Rababi with Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Balwand Rababi, tum sang jaave, समय समय हर भजन सुनावे, इस पर दयावंत सद रही है, दातन मोह जिन जीव रखी है. How respectful they were even to Guru Nanak Dev Ji. He wanted to preserve, he wanted that the next for the Sikhi, that everybody takes care of them. Datan moh jin jeev rakhaye. इस पर दयामन सद रही है. He really wanted to take care of all those Kirtaniyas and the Kirtan Parampara. So then in Guru Amar Das Ji's quote, there is this relevance here. Uh, I just wanted some verses there where there's this Balwant Rababi Satta Ai. This is the first time the reference of Bhai Satta Ji's come during Guru Amar Das Ji's time. It says, Balwant Rababi Satta Ai, Adbhut Darshan Satgur Pai. Tin tun Rabab kar ustad kari, Tikke ki Var ki paudi kari. So that Ramkali ki Var, we also call it a Tikke ki Var. So that's sung every time there was a Guruship. This is the Ramkali ki Var, which was sung in those times, and even now we know of it. Then it says Balwand Putra Satta Teh Aya on the page 473, Saki Guruji ki Ustad Vila. There's a reference to it. Then even in Guru Bilai Pashai Chemi, I don't want to go through all this verse. I want to just go to the timelines within the time I've been given, but you can refer to it on how they were introduced in the Guru Bilai Pashai Chemi. In Guru Pratap Suraj Granth, there's a reference of Huro Dum Balwand Mahana Satta Tisko Anusunana Darite Duman Dukh Payo Kare Jitan Tan Hath Nayo. They're telling that they were called to write the Var which was recited by them was written in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and they're talking about the time when they were really going through not a very good lifestyle. Yes. So Bhai Veer Singh Ji writings are based on all of these previous historical granths which have been written, where he summarizes that he was the first one to behold Guru Angad Dev Ji's divine presence when in Khadur Sahib, related to that Saki there, which we all know. I think I have a couple of minutes. I don't want to go through all of this, but the main part here is that together, Rai Balwand and Bhai Satta, they continued their Kirtan practices established by Guru Nanak Dev Ji. There's a reference of rags in this Granth, and it gives us a good insight into how Kirtan was done. Asa Diwar was done in early morning, Sodar was done. There's reference of other rags in there too when there was their performances in presence of Jahangir, King Jahangir, and also all of that information comes. So these are the three main resources we talked about, through which we sketch. I try to sketch these timelines about them. Just a snapshot of this. For more detail, you can refer to it later on. But as we see in Mahima Prakash, it tells about the historical period from Guru Nanak Dev Ji to Guru Angad Dev Ji to Guru Amar Das Ji, and again at the time of Guru Arjan Dev Ji leaves, there refers to all different times when the Kirtan had been performed by, and it tells about more details about what was done, which rags, and how it was done, which is a great resource for us. And there's this very well-known Sakhi about their separation from Guru and coming back and reunited, and forgiveness by the Gurus on them, and then including their Bani in the world. So in Guru Plus Pashai Cheni, most of it is about there's Adhyaya 4, mostly there are about 10 pages there, which are going into a lot of detail about what happened during Guru Arjan Dev Ji time, about how they got come back, how they were forgiven. All that information is there. And then the most important one in Guru Plus Pashami is during the Guru Hargobind time. It marks, there's a timeline represented here, and then I have just a conclusion here, which I'll just read to the last line here, that their journey from service and separation to reconciliation and immortalization in Guru Granth Sahib continues to resonate through Shabad Kirtan, affirming their place as foundational figures of Sikh devotional heritage. Thank you.